It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Tuesday, March 18th. Thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to hang out with you guys. It has been I had a little bit of a hiatus from a live yesterday. I wasn't live with you guys, and it was so devastating. It felt like, a piece of me was missing, a large piece. A huge dose or piece of me was missing, and that's you guys. That is you guys. I hope everyone here is doing well. I had a wild and crazy day. Do you guys remember that show, Wild and Crazy Kids? Like that Saturday morning adventure show? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That was a fun show. Those are the good days. Those are the good days. This is a blast from the past, but one of the cast members from Saved by the Bell, the new class, follows me, and she and I were in each other's DMs yesterday, and she was like, "I love your content," and I was like, "I'm sorry, I grew up watching you, Saved by the Bell, the new class." Saturday morning TV. Can we just not talk about anything but Saturday morning TV right now? Can we just literally say, forget Blake Lively, forget Bravo, forget any of that, and just talk about California Dreams and Saved by the Bell, the new class? Like, that's all I want to talk about today. Okay? Seriously, I'm not joking. Throw all the other stories to the wind and let's just talk about that. Because I am having a little bit of a tough day and I just want to talk about happy things so I don't break down into tears. That's how I'm feeling today. Oh my God. Before I start to cry, it is your daily dose of Donna. I will be okay, but I am going to cry. I swear to God. I have such a problem when I come live and I'm going through like emotional stuff. It is so wild. Like I don't even know how this works. Like I don't know what it is about coming live when I'm going through something in my personal life that it's just like I see you guys and I'm like, boom, waterworks. Waterworks. It's like seeing your friends, because you guys are so kind and so sweet. And it's like it's like getting a warm hug from friends, Ray is so sweet. She's sending a text. Deep breaths. All is good. Ray, let's talk about clits. Let's talk about clits. Let's talk about clits, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Blake Lively is making me cry. Everything's okay. It will be okay. Hopefully everything will be okay. Life happens, That's the thing. You guys see me every day. So can you imagine like going through, that's so true, Tiffany. It's like when you're going through a rough time and you see your mom. That's literally what it feels like. I could feel the strongest in the world and then my mom calls and I just like it collapse, right? Yesterday that happened. My stepdad came over and I've been like holding a lot of feelings in and he came over and I was like, hi. And then I just fell apart. You see me every day on this show. Well, like 5-6 times a week. And I always do this. Oh, I have like a tissue. And because of that, like you guys have seen me every single day for so many years, months, a lot of you guys have been here since January of 2023. Like, you see me through all the seasons, the good, the bad, the ugly, the happy, the ups, the downs, and life happens outside of this show. Good things, bad things, family, health, all the things. So, it's just the way life is. But it has nothing to do with the stories today. So we can get into the stories, which is a nice little distraction from real life. It's just, when I have the show at 11, which is a little bit late today, a couple minutes late, but when I have the show at 11 and like real life happens literally up until like, I'm like, I have to stop what I'm doing to go live. You don't have time to process and like, I'm like, pause. It's your daily dose of Donna. That's how it goes. And then I come in and you guys are like, hey, Donna. I'm like, okay, I actually feel better immediately. I feel better. You guys are awesome. Welcome to the show. Did you watch yesterday's show? I saw Dave Neal in person. That was so fun. Dave and I got to hang out. We went live on Instagram, and then we went live. Of course, I didn't go live on YouTube with him, but we were able to post on YouTube last night. And oh my God, it only went up late last night. This is the nice thing I should say about doing a what was it called? A live show. You don't realize how much easier it is to put on a live show than it is to like record a pre-recorded show, do all the editing, make sure it looks good, and then upload it. And it's a pain in the ass. I love doing lives because then you just record and then you're like, bye. So much nicer. But yes, we got to meet in person. Let me show you a little picture of us together. It was really fun to kind of hang out with him. And yeah, that's an awkward picture, huh? It's kind of awkward the way we're standing. He's putting his head forward. Dylan took that picture, actually, my son Dill. He was really cool to hang out with. Dav and Dana. That's what we said. Carrie says, do you need a tickle? Yes, tickle me. Tickle me, but not in a SH way, SH. Anyway, it was really cool. He had just done Heather McDonald down the street. This is at my husband's studio. And then we went to, we sat down, we got to hang and recorded a great conversation just about so many random things. It was really nice just to chill. We had a really great rapport, and I'm going to try to join he and Zach tomorrow. They're doing they're doing a recording tomorrow afternoon, and depending on my schedule, I'm going to try to jump over there. It's not that easy because it's all the way in downtown LA, which from where I live is like a world away in Wednesday afternoon traffic. So I will try my hardest to get over there. I guess he's interviewing Taylor Lorenz today, someone said in the comments, and he told me also, which is shocking. I'm like, I do have to listen to it, but I'm not a fan of Taylor Lorenz. That's going to be a hard one for me. I am going to struggle with Taylor Lorenz. We will have to see, but I will listen to it. I will listen to it. Taylor Lorenz and Stephanie McNeil, the author of that Glamour article, those two are birds of a feather. You know what I mean? They are together in that. Together. Amy says, you guys need to get into the Laura Owens fake pregnancy scandal. Well, we talked about that. That's the Clayton fake pregnancy. I did not know any of that story. So, I mean, I had heard like peripherally, but he told me details yesterday in a very kind of brief way. And Lance and I were like, whoa, what in the world? It will make a really, really good documentary. Speaking of documentary, Mel says, Donna, the UK dropped a documentary pro Blake. This is the wildest thing. There is so many documentaries that are coming out that are pro Blake. In fact, the majority of documentaries and the majority of media things that are coming out are pro Blake. I mean, this is just the way it's going to be. We're proving to see that the majority of mass media, legacy media, large media, corporate media will be pro Blake. And then independent media, journalists like us, citizen journalists, TikTok content creators will tend to be, most of them, pro Justin. It's just an interesting thing. I have no idea exactly why. So I don't know. I don't know what will be driving that and why, but I have no idea. It's interesting, and we'll see. We'll get into that in a little bit. I think we'll be able to talk about that in a little bit because I do have some Blake stories and I want to talk about this. This was a great find that actually I found on Threads. Kathy Dominguez on Threads. She's always posting things and tagging me in it. So I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But first, I want to talk about one of our sponsors for today. And I have a new sponsor, and I am such a fan. Oh, I have it right in front of me. One of their deodorants, LUME. Ooh, is it weird to use deodorant on? I am actually a little sweaty, so why not? It actually, Number one, it matches my outfit. LUME deodorant. It spells like LUME, but it's pronounced LUME. You guys, I'm not even sarcastic when I tell you this is my favorite deodorant, and it smells like heaven. If you ask me, nothing stinks more than that like afternoon BO or like, honestly, like 11-year-old boy sweat. Okay? Honestly, when you pick them up after school, you're like, what? That's why I'm so excited to tell you about LUME whole body deodorant. This is a whole body deodorant. You can use it everywhere. I really tend to only use it there. LUME is powered by mandelic acid to control odor in a new way. LUME delivers outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet. And yes, even your private, as Dave Neal liked to talk about yesterday. In fact, it was patients' concerns about private part odor that originally inspired the OBGYN who invented LUME. Fast forward 6 years and her game-changing whole body deodorant has now earned over 300,000 five-star reviews from people like me who love feeling confident from head to toe. And we have a special offer. New customers get 15% all LUME products with our exclusive code and link. Use code Donna at LumeDeodorant.com. LumeDeodorant.com, code Donna. That's DANA. So please, honestly, check it out. All the products are baking soda free, paraben free. They have all kinds of things. They have sprays, they have wipes, they have lotions. Like, honestly, my whole family uses it, different smells and everything. So thank you, LUME, for being a sponsor for this week. And Emily says the sponsorship will offend Blake. It's too sexual. I totally agree. It will, absolutely. No question. And this is a great tagline for LUME. New LUME tagline. Everything from your pits to your perineums. Wow. Paraben free and perineum safe. What a great tagline. Okay. Someone just mentioned something here. I'm so sorry. I keep pulling up the wrong thing. And Allie says, I keep getting unsubscribed. Anyone else? So this keeps happening. I don't know if it's anywhere or everywhere, but everyone on all of my videos, I keep getting comments that says, Donna, I don't know what's going on. I keep getting unsubscribed. So please, right now, everyone, that's why I cried. I started this video crying because I want to make sure that you're subscribed to me. That's literally, it was pity tears. So please make sure that you are subscribed to Daily Dose of Donna right now. I am officially over the 41 mark. Remember, the goal is to get to 50. Get me to 50, road to 50. So please check that you're subscribed and also make sure you like this current video. Thank you so much. Let's get into Blake Lively. Oh, but not like that. Okay, Blake, not like that. Don't get crazy. Don't get wild. We found a video. And when I say we, Kathy Dominguez on Threads, love to, call her out. She found an incredible video. I don't know where she found it, but she found a video of the composer that Blake Lively had hired. Remember this whole story that the composer that was hired by Justin Baldoni and apparently, allegedly, Taylor Swift did not like this composer. I had kind of like deduced who that composer was. And this was a big composer. We talked about this months ago. Was fired off the movie, and Blake Lively ended up hiring the composer that did the Deadpool score and also Age of Adeline, hired him in and gave him such a short amount of time to score the entire movie. Well, this video is a small little random interview that was found at some sort of con. Not con, but like Comic-Con. It looks like a Comic-Con. Not like a con, but probably a con. And this composer that ended up getting hired by Blake Lively ended up saying exactly what is needed to prove the evidence that is needed for, I would say, for Justin Baldoni to say she took over this film. Like, you can't dispute the fact that Blake Lively took over as the lead of this film. Now, we know that Justin has the text of it, basically texting his coworkers, his editors, his co-producers saying like, it's her film. She's taking over. I have no choice or whatever. But now we literally have a composer who says it with his own words. So let's watch this video from him in his own words, having no idea whatsoever that he's doing anything out of school. He's literally just trying to say his side of the story. He has no idea that he's throwing Blake under the bus. He doesn't know that Blake's doing something wrong or, taking over out of school. He just thinks that he's sharing the story of how he got hired onto the movie. Okay. I don't know how to start it from the very beginning on Threads. It's like weird. It doesn't give you a very good way to restart the video, but let's try.
No, she called me as we were in
I'm
London.
going to restart it. Hold on.
That is the vibe. Just did that for Blake Lively's film. It Ends With Us, which is actually coming out in another week or two.
Nice.
Yeah.
So are you like grabbing from that from the book, or are you grabbing?
I didn't read the book. No, she called me as we were in London finishing Deadpool, and she's like, she called me out of the blue, and she's like, I've been hearing what you've been doing on Deadpool, and Ryan talks about you so much, and blah blah blah. And she's like, and then I found out that you did Age of Adeline, which I didn't even realize. And yeah, it was her.
They don't know.
They don't know, but she did. She found out, and and she had kind of moved into the lead position of finishing this film, and so we came in and scored the film in 3 weeks from beginning to end, which was I think a record. And there was like 50 minutes of score, 55 or something. So I did it with one of my first assistants, and we had a great time. But luckily, it was simple. It was ambience and piano and some electric guitar. We did some strings, of course, right?
So that right there is proof that this guy, having no real motivation to throw anyone under the bus, to say anything out of school, he literally was just like, yeah, Blake Lively had taken over the lead of finishing this film. She called me, hired me on, and I did my job. Done. I have no idea where this was filmed. You can't really tell. The quality is kind of bad. You can't tell exactly where this was. I'm sure people have probably figured out exactly where this video was filmed. But I thought it was a really interesting video because it straight up says the facts. Blake Lively took over finishing this film. She called me and hired me on. Blake Lively was, if I can remind you, the lead actress and producer. She wasn't even a PGA. She was an executive producer, but she was not, Producers Guild. She was executive producer just by nature, like just by an honorary executive producer credit, as so many are. I would love to talk to different executive producers on different films, just to kind of get an idea of how involved they are. Of course, there's so many different executive producers, actors and executive producers on different films. And the level of involvement is going to vary. You have Alec Baldwin on Rust. Oh my gosh, we need to just give me a second, because I think we do need to talk about later. We do need to show you, if you haven't already seen the Alec Baldwin and Ilaria clip of their red carpet interview. Just a second. We have, executive producers. Like, for example, I'm watching Paradise. Sterling K. Brown, the lead of Paradise, is an executive producer on that TV show. We have so many cases where, Ben Affleck is the executive producer of every movie he's in. Or he was the executive producer on Air, that Nike movie. Emily just says it's like Kourtney Kardashian's an EP on their show. Do you think she's seriously sitting there in the editing and the cutting of every single episode, et cetera? We don't know. We don't know exactly how involved. But what we do know from hearing Justin Baldoni's complaint is exactly how Blake Lively was involved, and then how she took over involvement, how she was meant to be involved, and then how it turned out. So the point is that it does feel like she 100% did take over. Well, we know she took over, and this is exactly how it was explained. Yeah, Blake Lively took over the film. It ended up, she ended up taking out. Another interesting story that, a few interesting stories that I haven't covered yet, and some people have, but I haven't. And this is Daily Dose of Donna, in case you are wondering. This interview, and I'm not going to go through it in detail because a lot of people have already talked about it, but Bryan Freedman was on that podcast, The Town, which is, it's a wild podcast. Matthew Bologna is a He's the head writer behind the Puck newsletter. And the Puck newsletter is a very insider newsletter. In fact, remember how I reported first? I'm going to be like Perez Hilton. I was the first to report how Doug Lyman, executive producer, and director Doug Lyman's brother is Judge Lyman on the case of Blake Lively. Puck newsletter is how I know that, because my friend Eliza Rosen, shout out, she is the person who gets that newsletter, and she shared that with me. So he has this podcast. He is not an easy interviewer for Bryan Freedman. This podcast is definitely the hardest interview I've heard against Bryan Freedman. Like, it's the most, intense kind of going at it interview. The reason why I think it's interesting is because most of the people that we've heard interview Bryan Freedman up until this point are very pro Justin Baldoni, pro Bryan Freedman people. We've got Megyn Kelly. We've got Harvey Levin. We have Billy Bush. We have people that Bryan Freedman has relationships with that I think are on the side of Justin Baldoni and justice. And so this person in this interview was truly someone that I don't think in any way had Justin Baldoni's side. In fact, I think was very belittling. I'm just going to say it. I don't want to talk about politics, but my guess is he also falls along that same Stephanie McNeil, Taylor Lorenz thing, which is if you support Justin Baldoni, you are a right winger, because he did mention a couple things and he said, yeah, I bet you and Trump are like da da da. I don't know if you noticed that in the podcast. He also said another thing. He mentioned that this whole thing is a circus. He said this whole case is a circus. And Freedman was like, well, I don't think it's a circus when my client is being completely, damaged in their reputation and is fighting back for their life and their career. I don't think you can call it a circus. So I wasn't a fan of this interview. I mean, I love Bryan Freedman. You know my feelings about him, but I was not a fan of the interviewer. I thought it was a hardball interview, and it was also annoying. I found him annoying. Like, he was like a chihuahua a little bit. Didn't you guys feel that way a little bit? But anyway, so in this interview, they talked about settling. And the articles that are picking it up are basically saying that Justin Baldoni's legal saga takes another turn as his lawyer considers a settlement. It says that he sounded defiant, Bryan Freedman, when he was asked about the possibility of a settlement during the podcast. On the latest episode of Matthew Baloney's podcast, The Town, the host sat down with Baldoni's lawyer, Bryan Freedman, to discuss the dueling lawsuits. Although a settlement to the lawsuits would be a common resolution in similar situations, Freedman appeared to suggest that Baldoni was willing to take his lawsuit all the way to a final verdict. He said, let me go to his actual quotes. He said, I do not believe there will be a trial in this case, Baloney opined. That's the interviewer. I just think the potential for the circus and the damage to both sides will ultimately win out and you guys will settle. He then asked why the two sides will hypothetically drag out the lawsuit and the negative publicity that comes with it for both parties any longer than necessary. What is the number, he asked, referring to the amount Baldoni would be willing to settle for? What would it require for this to go away? But Freedman seemed to push away talk of a settlement by circuitously disagreeing with Baloney's frame of the situation. You keep referring to it as a circus, and I get it. You see a lot of cases, you see a lot of things. But the reality is, this is not a circus when you go through an experience like this, he replied. I've represented a lot of people in the worst moments of their career, the worst moments of their life. Justin has been destroyed by this, he said. Bryan Freedman. He characterized Lively's accusations against Baldoni as a really serious thing and said it was a necessity that they be interrogated in court. In this day and age, the only way that you can truly get back is to prove your innocence, and that's what we're actively working to do. That may only be able to be done in a courtroom. And then they continued to talk about the website. He defended the website, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think this is really important to say. It's less about just getting a settlement and just getting the money. Getting a settlement and just getting the money is not a win for Justin Baldoni. Let's talk about like that case with the with the script. Remember this hit piece, the quote unquote hit piece by the LA Times that just came out about toxic positivity against Justin Baldoni? Remember, it just came out, and one of the lawsuits that they mentioned in it was this lawsuit against Justin for the script that he had apparently, taken from the man who had struggled with cystic fibrosis. I'm pretty sure I got that right. I can't remember the specific deals. What ended up happening with that lawsuit was that he settled out of court, and he settled. And the man who had written the script, who had sued Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer, walked away with a certain amount of money. Who do you think ended up winning that lawsuit? Is there a winner when someone settles? Do you look at Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer as having won? Or do you look at the man who sued as the winner? You don't really look at anyone as the winner. You kind of just look at, like, is that an admission of guilt to settle? Or is it just like, here's money so you can go away? You kind of don't look at really anything. You just look at, like, it's kind of like money so you can just go away. To me, settling is not an admission of wrongdoing. It's not an admission of guilt. It's not an admission of winning. It's kind of like nothing. It's to win the case, to clear his name. That's why it's so important. Settling is not going to do it for him, in my opinion. And so I'm with Bryan Freedman. Like, let's go all the way, man. Let's go all the way. Let's go to fourth base. Let's home run this shit, right? And I want to home run it. I mean, I think we should go all the way. We should maybe have a baby, right? Like, let's maybe stay over and even make me breakfast tomorrow morning all the way. Last Blake Lively update that I have, I think today, there's a few kind of Blake Lively offshoots. You'll see little tentacle offshoots, but this last kind of really related one, this is interesting. Another find from Threads about Leslie Sloane. Leslie Sloane is saying in one of her documents, because they're going back and forth of the legal documents, and I'm not going to sit here and go through all the hundreds of pages of the legal documents, but Leslie Sloane is saying in one of her legal documents, remember, she is the Vision PR. She is a defendant in the lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, or from Justin Baldoni. He is suing her, and she is Blake Lively's publicist. She is saying in one of her documents that she had, let me show you the actual document. It says, additionally, the Sloane party's role in the overall dispute is small. This is her trying to dismiss herself from the case. Welcome, Dragonfly. Thank you for becoming a member. It says, Miss Lively's amended complaint discloses that Miss Sloane was not even aware of the sexual harassment as it happened. Isn't that crazy? And it says, and the Wayfarer parties do not and cannot allege that Miss Sloane was involved in the New York Times article that they claim is defamatory. So they're saying that Miss Lively's amended, that she was not even aware of the sexual harassment as it happened? What in the world? Sorry, you guys. Frankie came right up to me. Frankie's pissed. Frankie's like, Blake Lively's a liar. You know, when dogs know, that girl's a liar. That girl's a liar. That girl's a liar. Right, Franks? What are we going to do about that girl? What are we going to do? I know. What should we do? Frankie gets very, very livid sometimes when I talk about liars. She's like, get me up there. I want to say something. Frankie's my 14-year-old. Let me think. How old? My 14-year-old Chihuahua Papillon with the worst breath of life. Thank you so much for that. Okay, you done? You want to hang out here? Okay. Remember, Frankie is my glam squad and my legal team. And my publicist. Don't even think about suing her. So, okay. Frankie has 2 eyes. Okay, so how is that possible? Her own publicist was not even aware of the sexual harassment at the time. Who did Blake tell? Did Blake tell anyone? So sorry, my dog's hair got in my nose. Did Blake tell anyone? She told her own imagination, I think. Who the hell did she tell? She told the other actresses, hey, I'm thinking about maybe coming back to say that I'm uncomfortable later in the year. What is going on? All we need to see, and Elsie brought this up, all we need to see is that one text between her and her husband. Hey, feeling a little bit harassed on set. Okay. We got to move on to talk about a few different things. There's so many other things going on. But they're, like I said, they're tentacles. They're a little bit off of Blake. So just wait. There's some really, really good stories that have a lot to do with Blake in a weird way. But our next story, of course, is brought to you by RULA. This is really important. As you guys saw, I started this episode with some tears. It's been a little bit of a tough road for me in the last few weeks, but thank goodness for therapy, because finding a therapist that you trust should not be so complicated or cost you a fortune. I am so grateful for affordable therapy. And that's why today's sponsor, RULA, was formed. RULA connects you with high-quality, vetted, licensed mental health professionals that are suited for you. And here's the best part. They take most major insurance plans. That means instead of paying hundreds out of pocket, you could pay as little as $15 per session. RULA also supports you every step of the way. From finding a therapist to scheduling your sessions to tracking your progress and dealing with insurance, they make it happen. Getting started is easy. They ask you a few questions about what you're looking for in a therapist, things like your insurance, type of care, and preferences. And from there, RULA matches you with an in-network provider who fits your criteria. You can book your first session and start your journey to better mental health as soon as the next day. So head over to RULA.com/daily dose to begin. That's RULA.com/daily dose. Because better mental health should be accessible, affordable, and easy. Thousands have already trusted RULA to support them on the journey towards improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to RULA.com/daily dose to get started today. After you sign up, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support Daily Dose of Donna and tell them our show sent you. Go to RULA.com/daily dose and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. Thank you so much for sharing the code, Wanda. Okay, our next story, I don't even know. This is the craziest story. Thank you so much for the super chats. Sarah says, totally agree. You should go down the rabbit hole of Clayton Echard versus Laura Owens. It's literally gold. New subscriber here. Love your channel. Thank you, Sarah. I will. I love a good rabbit hole. Oh my gosh, you guys. I need to tell you. I watched all 3 episodes of Ruby Frankie documentary on Hulu on Sunday night. I watched all 3 episodes. I know the story. I've listened to podcasts. I knew the story. I've seen different clips and stuff, but I watched all 3 back to back. And I'm telling you, I did not look at my phone, which is a good sign of something that was interesting. You know, when you scroll, if you're scrolling your phone while you're watching something, it's just not capturing your attention, which is pretty much every Bravo show lately. Sorry, Bravo, you're not getting me. But this, I could not stop watching. I was like, now I knew the story. I've seen some of the footage, so it wasn't shocking to me. I just could not wrap my head around this woman. I could not wrap around my head around Jody, the other woman, and the dad, Kevin. What in the world was wrong with the dad? Oh my God. Yeah, brainwashed, possessed, real bad. Okay, let's move on. This is a wild story about Gwyneth Paltrow. And if you've been around for a long time, you know when I saw this story, I was like, oh, well, this is a Daily Dose of Donna story if I've ever heard one. This was a crazy, crazy story. This is the headline of the story. You are going to love it. If you've been around for a long time, you're going to love this story. It says, Leave it to the New York Post for this one. Gwyneth Paltrow has a lot of sex with Timothy Chalamet and Marty Supreme and refused an intimacy coordinator. Blake Lively, where are you? Gwyneth Paltrow has a lot of sex with Timothy Chalamet and refused an intimacy coordinator. Excuse me? Uh-huh. They did more than kiss, the article says. Let's read this together. I can't even. Gwyneth Paltrow and Timothy Chalamet go all the way in their upcoming film, Marty Supreme, the actress revealed in her Vanity Fair cover story published Tuesday. I mean, we have a lot of sex in this movie, Paltrow shared. There's a lot. A lot, she says. A lot. How do you think Kylie Jenner feels about this? When the interviewer asked Paltrow, so you're in a lot of vulnerable positions with him? She replied, beyond. Chalamet. Marty Supreme, directed by Josh Safdie. Remember Josh Safdie from Uncut Gems? Uncut Gems is a fictional story inspired by the real professional ping pong player, Marty Reisman. Wait, she had a lot of sex with a ping pong player. This is just getting weirder and weirder. Who won several medals at the World Table Tennis Championships between the late 1940s and 1960s. Chalamet, 29, plays main character Marty Mauser. Paltrow plays his love interest, a table tennis wag. He's such a thinking man's sex symbol, Paltrow said about a complete unknown actor who is dating Kylie Jenner. He's a very polite, properly raised, I was going to say kid, she said. He's a man who takes his work really seriously and is a fun partner. Paltrow added of her character, whatever she's talking about her character, blah, blah, blah. It says that she was spotted kissing him on the set in October 2024. And she revealed how her husband, Brad Falchuk, felt about her smooching Chalamet. She said, unthreatened, not because Chalamet isn't awesome, but he knows he's got my whole heart. Ryan Reynolds, listen up. Okay. The following month, Paltrow said on The Tonight Show that all of her mom group texts were fire after the kissing photos went viral. Do you guys think that Chalamet is that hot? That's so weird. In her Vanity Fair interview, Paltrow said that having an intimacy coordinator, now listen to this one, having an intimacy coordinator on the set of Marty Supreme was a big change for her. She said there's now something called an intimacy coordinator, which is not something I knew existed. She said, I was like, girl, I'm from the era where you just get naked, you get in bed, and the camera's on. The Oscar winner revealed that she ultimately refused the intimacy coordinator. She said, I think we're good. No, she said, we said, I think we're good. You can step a little bit back. I don't know how it is for kids who are starting out, but if someone's like, okay, and then he's going to put his hand here, I would feel as an artist very stifled by that. Oh my God. Justin Baldoni should have hired Gwyneth fucking Paltrow to do It Ends With Us. Only Justin Baldoni ends up with the most annoying, difficult, prudish actress in the entire world, Blake Lively, who cannot kiss in a scene without a third party saying, put your lip like this over his lip, like this, and then put your lip, put your tongue. Oh. And Gwyneth Paltrow's like, step back. I know how to touch a man. Like, this is out of control. Gwyneth Paltrow is so real for saying, like, this is okay. This is so new age, weird, like, Gen X, Gen Z, like weird shit. We don't need an intimacy coordinator telling us how to act like we are into each other on set. I like this. Don't you guys think that this is so good for Justin Baldoni to say, like, the fact that Blake made it such a big deal that an intimacy coordinator has to be on set for every little piece of every single scene while we're just putting our hands on each other's shoulders. It's like, I find it so interesting. I found that story good. I liked it a lot for this one. Now, another interesting little offshoot. This is good. I hope this doesn't ruffle some political feathers. Well, it probably will. What else is new, right? Someone did talk about SH in the workplace. Do you guys want to hear who talked about getting SH'd in the workplace? Did you hear about this? A new person? Not an actor, not an actress, a newscaster. Don Lemon. Yep. Former CNN newscaster Don Lemon opens up about getting SH'd in the workplace on CNN. Yep. By both women and men when he was just starting out. This is what and I'll tell you the story, and I'm not trying to normalize SH at all. I am really not trying to normalize it. But I think it's very interesting how many people have stories of this nature. Just to explain to you the stories that you're going to hear, how many people have the stories to show you how not a story Justin Baldoni is in comparison to the stories that you can hear. Because that's what I keep talking about with all the other creators when we're talking about it. What Justin Baldoni allegedly did to Blake was such a nothing burger compared to the actual stories of SH out there, right? So Don Lemon's story, he was speaking to Bill Maher on his Club Random podcast on Sunday. And this, I didn't listen to it, but this was the story that was picked up by Page Six. It says, Don Lemon claims women and men harassed him at CNN. He said, a young lady tweaked my nipples. Okay. He said, it's ridiculous, the journalist told Bill Maher on his podcast on Sunday. There are some things that are really egregious, but not every. I don't know if they were talking about Blake Lively or anything. I actually need to go listen to the podcast to hear like the context in which they talked about it. But he says it's ridiculous, the journalist told Bill Maher on the Comedians Club Random podcast. There are some things that are really egregious, but not everything is Harvey Weinstein level. He added, referring to the disgraced film producer who was found guilty of all the things, in New York and Los Angeles. He recalled a time when a woman allegedly touched him inappropriately while he was getting something to eat in the CNN cafeteria in Atlanta. He goes, this young lady tweaked my nipples and said, oh, it's cold in here. I said, oh, okay, you realize that if I did that, they'd be walking me out the door right now, he said. The former Don Lemon Tonight host said he didn't care to go to HR after the incident and didn't say anything because it's a double standard. Lemon, who is openly gay, remembered a second incident that allegedly took place when he spent the night at a female co-worker's home after a work event. He said the woman offered for him to sleep in a spare room at her house during a time when rideshare services such as Uber and Lyft did not exist. He said, I never told this story. Someone who I worked with also harassed me at CNN, and I never went to management, he claimed. First of all, I was so new there. She knew I was gay. It was just bizarre. She was going through a divorce. It was weird, he said. The news anchor said he never went to management because he feared the network would get rid of him. I thought, okay, they may find a way to get rid of me because if I told the story, I don't know if they're going to believe me or not. But then she was so mean to me after that. I was like, I should have told the story. CNN declined to comment. A spokesperson for the channel. Oh, no, that's it. They declined to comment. And then a spokesperson talked about his firing. So that was totally separate. So here's the thing. I'm not in any way saying that there's an excuse for this. There's not. This is horrible. Anytime anyone has been inappropriately touched or spoken to or treated like badly in any of these cases, especially in a workplace, awful, awful. It's happened to me. It's happened to so many of you. And that's, I think, why we take this shit seriously, right? That's, I think, why we're so upset about this whole Blake Lively story. But the whole point about it is that it happens all the time. It is a very commonplace experience. And it needs to be taken seriously. It needs to be taken seriously, and especially when it's real serious, really serious, right? Speaking of getting canceled, I found this to be incredibly interesting and really odd coming from the people who are saying it. Bravo. We need to talk about this. Look, as you can see, as you can tell, I have had like a little bit of a interesting, odd experience with Bravo in the last few months. I like certain Bravo shows. I will always still watch Real Housewives. Most of the Real Housewives I am a fan of. I have a hard time covering them like tremendously because I find a lot of them boring. But certain shows I find are really interesting. In general, a lot of them they're just not grabbing at me. Like the stories are a little bit boring to me. The behind the scenes is a little bit boring to me. I'm just not as invested. And this kind of shit that I see really upsets me because I find it to be incredibly hypocritical. And this is where I'm going to probably ruffle the feathers. So I left it for the end of the show. I left it for the end of the show because this is where I'm going to get all probably the anger. Let's talk about Bravo and Watch What Happens Live. Andy Cohen talking to Chrissy Teigen about canceling people and about giving people second chances. So let's get into that. Here is a reel that Watch What Happens Live themselves posted. I guess she was on the show yesterday or the day before. I have not watched the show, but I just saw it on my feed and I was like, we got to talk about this. Last night, the day before, or whatever. And I want you guys to hear this. Now, without you knowing a lot, you know about Chrissy Teigen, right? You must know about Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen is John Legend's wife, and she is famously very problematic. Very problematic, okay? She has been involved in a lot of scandals. She has said incredibly problematic things on social media over the last 10 years, like beyond. She's told people to unalive themselves. Like, she is tough. She's a toughie. I am not a fan. He is obsessed with her. Andy Cohen is obsessed with Chrissy Teigen. In fact, he's said it multiple times that she would be a dream to get on one of the Real Housewives. I don't get it, why she is acceptable and other people are not. I find it really, really telling that he thinks whatever she says is Teflon, but Ramona Singer, someone like a Ramona Singer or someone like a, I don't know, you guys help me think of someone else, is just not. But Chrissy is, for him, she's like a dreamboat. Anyway, this is what the question was, and this is the answer here. Check it out.
It's my unpopular opinion.
Okay.
Okay, Chris.
First of all, I have like 100. We
Okay,
had to
give me
narrow
whatever
it
you
down.
want.
And I know you might feel this way too, and this might be controversial, but I feel like when people are problematic on the show or on their show, their respective show, and they make a mistake in life, I feel like we should follow that through completely. I don't feel like we should let them go and we should make them like put them in.
That's how we used to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to put them in like a punishment
work it out.
tunnel. Yes, work it out on camera. Let them learn, listen, grow from it, and then see their like redemption arc. I think that's really important and really cool. And we all make mistakes. We all like learn and grow from them. And I want to see that with them because I genuinely care about these people. I followed them for so long. Let's see it. Let's see it play through.
I love this.
Thank you.
That was a great take. Time for
Okay. So let's hear your thoughts on this, you guys. Very interested what my audience's thoughts are on this. I'm going to take it to the streets. I'm going to be like Billy on the streets. Okay. Here's my mic. I want to ask from you guys in the audience. I'm going to pull up some of your comments. Let's hear what you guys have to say about this. I'm curious what you guys have to say. So Danny thinks that it's because he likes her because you are the company you keep. That's why people think, because I was asking, why do you think Andy's obsessed with her? It's because he aligns with her politically. There is no question in my mind that is why he is obsessed with her. If you guys are paying attention to Andy Cohen lately on social media, not so much I'm going to be honest. I do not listen to Radio Andy. Like, I don't listen to his show. I will listen to clips of his if people pull it up on Instagram. Like, if he's talking about a scandal, I will listen, but I'm not one of his listeners like on a daily basis. But I do see him on Twitter or on Threads, especially if one of his things go viral or whatever. So I can see he's very political. He's very open about his politics. So I'm curious what you guys think about this. So here we go. Chrissy is full of it, Kitschy says. Dragonfly says something that I agree with. She wants that redemption for herself. She is projecting because she needs that second chance for herself. A lot of people have kind of written her off because of her problematic behavior, so she's hoping for herself. Look, I'm just going to tell you guys what I think first, and then I would love to get more of your comments. I am not for canceling anyone unless they are truly not able to take accountability for anything that they've done wrong, and then they double down. Like a Kanye. Honestly, Kanye to me is a perfect example of someone that does not see flaws in his bad behavior and then just keeps going. Like every day there's a new article about problematic tweets and problematic rants against everyone, all minorities. That's someone that is never going to learn from bad behavior. But I personally have said things that are problematic. I personally have done things that are wrong and offensive and have hurt feelings and stuff. And I always apologize. And I do feel badly about that. And I've tried to do better. I never, ever feel good about any of my past behavior. So I would feel so silly to say, like, you are never allowed to make a mistake and you have to be a perfect robot. That's not normal behavior. It's about taking accountability and saying, like, shit, I fucked up. And how can we make that better? Okay, let me see. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Didn't Bravo cancel Anna Marie for having views that aren't far left liberal? So Anna Marie, 8.5. Okay, I want to talk about that because that's a big thing. So many people on the right side, it's usually a political thing, why people are canceled on these shows. Or not canceled, but are just not given more grace. However, you can also look at, there's always that second reason why, because Anna Marie's husband, Marcellus, yes, Anna Marie is not a left-wing person, and she does have some pretty strong right-wing, strong feelings, but so do so many housewives. So many housewives are also very conservative. The difference is Marcellus, her husband, is also very involved and very connected to like some really, really scandalous stuff. It's just even more stuff has come out this week that he's accused of all kinds of horrible things. So that's interesting. Okay, let me see what else. I like that. Happy to give people the grace to grow. I totally agree with that. Ray says Bethany, Kelly Dodd, that lady on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that got kicked off. Oh, Jenny or something. So Bethany will never be given a second chance because she hates Andy. Bethany went too far. She really went into Andy, but she will also never give Andy a second chance. So I don't think no matter what. Kelly Dodd is so far gone, I would say, because it's not like, I think it's not just the politics. It's how far deep she goes into her politics and how offensive she gets, or how, not offensive, but how much she talks about it, and how, because I don't think that you can, I would say like half of the cast of OC probably is conservative, right? Like Jen Pedranti is taking pictures with her Cybertruck every day, but no one's trying to get her fired from that show. It's all about like how much you lean into that. I don't know. Okay. A lot of you guys don't like Andy. A lot of, yeah, Andy's, I'm struggling with Andy Cohen lately a little bit too. Okay, a lot of people don't feel like racism. If you say something racist or homophobic, those are things that you can't be given second chances to. What if you say something that you say and then you were like, shit, I did not mean to say that, and that is something that I would like to learn from, and I am so sorry. Are you able to be given a second chance? Curious about that. Unless you are anti-Semitic. Nope. Well, there are anti-Semitic people on Real Housewives of Dubai, but I guess they're not bringing that back. Let's all take advice from Chrissy, please. It's so funny. You guys have so much so many really good stories, so many really good comments. You guys make sure that you go into the live chat. It gets saved here every single day. And people have really, really good thoughts. I like the idea about getting different viewpoints and seeing people's redemption. In fact, I was talking to Dave Neal about this yesterday. It doesn't help anyone if you just say, you fucked up, you're off the island, you're out of here, bye, never see you again, cancel, fired, you're lost, you ruined it, you're done. Kind of like, I hate to keep bringing up Billy Bush. He becomes like the story of this because he says he was ground zero of getting canceled. He lost his job. He lost his wife. He lost everything because of that one interview. It doesn't really do much for you. The best situation in those cases would be told, like, I will give you a chance to get better and to figure out how you did wrong and maybe have conversations on camera with the person who you offended and learn how to do better. Wasn't it Trishelle on The Traitors that like offended Peppermint? Maybe I'm getting that wrong. Offended Peppermint and like had to say something again, or like had to take classes or whatever to try to, learn and how to try to figure out how to kind of, understand how to something like that. I feel like it was something like that. Interesting. Well, I will say that it's an interesting dynamic. And I think that people are very, very judgmental of anyone that doesn't think just like them. And I don't think it is one side versus the other. I think it's both sides. I think that a lot of people like to live in an echo chamber in life, and people don't like to assume. I think people really want to be surrounded by and only be around people that have exactly their own thoughts and ideas just like them. But we don't learn like that. I guess in life, we should always kind of open up to other ideas as long as they're not hateful and awful. And if they are hateful, but they don't know that they're hateful, or maybe they messed up because they were raised in a certain way, you got to kind of learn from that. That's why I love the comments here. I love learning from you guys. And I always say it's so important to have open dialogue. As long as we're not hateful in our comments, it's so interesting. Because I feel like that's why I ask you guys, like, tell me what you guys are saying. Like, I want to know. Am I getting this wrong? Explain, Anyway, we're just so quick to get angry and just judge and yell and say, get the F off my page or whatever. So, and that being said, if you don't think just like me, get out. Make sure you guys are subscribed here to Daily Dose of Donna. I am sorry for being emotional at the beginning of the show. Listen, what can I do? I'm not a girl, not just a woman. No, wait, I'm just a girl, not just a woman. I'm something. I'm not a singer, that's for sure. I love you very much. I appreciate you guys. You're really my true friends. I don't think I have true friends anymore. Just the dosers, just me and the dosers. We are family. I love you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for giving me ratings and reviews, helping Daily Dose of Donna staying afloat. And I'm so excited because this week, Just Jew and Me. It's called Just Jew and Me is my new podcast with my friend Adam. We recorded our first episode yesterday. I'm so excited because it's my little baby. It's my new show where I get to talk about being Jewish and the joys of being Jewish and the hard things about being Jewish with my friend who's not a podcaster. And I'm totally taking him out of his comfort zone. And it's going to be so fun. And we recorded our first episode yesterday. So I will be releasing that later this week. I'm excited about that. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, Alec Baldwin. I'm going to do that tomorrow. Don't worry, Lady Di. I will do that tomorrow. That will be fun. I will share all of that about Just You and Me and everything tomorrow. Don't you worry. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.